Oh gosh. Welcome to Count It All Sports.
Where opinions are king.
And the facts are up for debate. I'm
Right.
Amos, and
And I'm
that's
Frankie.
woo. We have a great
Let's
show for
do
you
it.
today.
Oh, so excited. So
First, we're going to
excited.
start with a segment called What Has Happened This Week.
Yes, yes. And for that, there's nothing.
There's absolutely no news since we talked
That's
last on
it.
Tuesday.
Nothing.
And that is why we have a special guest today that we're going to interview. Our first interview.
Yes.
We've
yes.
never had another guest before. And I'll let Frankie introduce him.
Yeah, but we figured, here's the deal. We figured you guys were going to get tired of hearing us talk after you're probably already there. So, so this guy, I think you guys are going to love him. He played some pro baseball. He's a lefty, so he's weird. He's got plenty of great stories. I've known him since we were in high school. We played baseball together. I pitched. He was way better. Let's just call it what it is. But his name's Nate O'Brien, and we're gonna welcome him to the show right now. Here he is. Give it up for Nate. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
I'm doing great, fellas. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Man, we're excited to have you. So let's just get started. So tell the people just a little bit about who you are, and what you did, where you played, and then we'll get some stories.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I graduated high school in 08. Got lucky enough to go play junior college ball at Green River Community College for 2 years. And when I was there, that was when they turned me into a left-handed pitcher. Had 2 great years there, and then transferred to St. Martin's University for my final 2 years. Once I got done with that, I ended up going down to a showcase for essentially free agents down in California. Played there for a month and got picked up by a team in the Frontier League, which is independent professional baseball. Played in that league for 2 years, and then my last year I played in the European Professional League. I played for the Draci Dragons in Brno, Czech Republic.
Yeah, that's so awesome. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. That's great, man. Well, so tell me a little bit. So what? Because when we played, you didn't pitch, right?
No, I didn't. I played first base. I was all league first base. I had the Golden Glove, and I could barely hit above 200. That's about that's why they turned me into a pitcher in college. They were just like 3 days in, man. Like, so, my high school coach, Todd McDougal, he ended up getting me over to Green River. And like 2 days into like the first two days of fall ball practices, coach pulls me aside and he's just like, "Hey man, you're getting buried out there. You can't hit worth a lick." And I'm back in my mind, I'm like, I know. And he's like, but here's the thing, man. I had a player like 3 years ago. I ended up cutting him loose. Then he ended up going to Centralia, becoming a pitcher, and just shoved it down our throat. So I don't want to do that with you. So they didn't have any lefties in their bullpen and made me a left-handed pitcher, and it worked.
There we go. And I was looking up a little bit because like I said, you played first base when I played with you. So you don't throw over the top, right? Are you like fully? You're not submarine, right? You're just sidearm.
No, I wasn't submarine or sidearm. I was a really low 3/4. I was never over the top, but it was just. I learned from one of my pitching coaches. Just like a little trick of how to find your natural arm slot, and him and I just did this trick, and it was a low 3/4, and that's just where I live.
All right, tell us about the trick. What's the trick? I want to hear it.
What about the?
What's the trick? Yeah, what's the trick to figure out your natural? How to find your natural? Yeah, bro. Let me hear it. No, you're good. You're good.
So what you do is that you just stand on a mound and you just come set like normal, and when you bring your leg up, you just hold your leg to a pause. Okay. And standing, right behind you, in front of second base, your pitching coach is right there, and he just tosses the ball right to you, and you just catch the ball right to your side. You just catch it and throw.
Okay.
So you have no time to react.
You're not thinking about it.
Yeah, you're not thinking about any mechanics, no nothing. You just catch the ball, throw. That's just your natural arm slot, and mine just happened to be like a low 3/4.
Okay. Wow, that's cool. That's cool.
What pitches you throw?
Man, I was fastball, curveball, changeup. I did not like my changeup that much, but fastball, I loved commanding it. I didn't throw that hard, so it was, it was more fun just to spot, both sides of the plate. But my breaking ball was my bread and butter.
Yeah. And that curveball it's sliding across at a pretty harsh angle, right?
Yeah, it was. But the nice part is throughout my career, I faced a lot of lefties.
Perfect.
And that's, but I was able to kind of change. I was able to kind of change, the trajectory of, each curveball. I could go 12-6 if I need to, just kind of make it, a sweeping, slider, but I wouldn't call it a slider, and, start something behind his head and have it break to the inside corner of the plate. And that was just a pitch.
Right.
Everyone hated facing me because everyone would just talk craps and I just threw the kitchen sink, but
yeah,
who cares? You get out. Who cares?
Right. You get it done.
Matter.
That's all that matters for sure.
I'm not gonna blow 83 by you. So just let me do what I can.
Right. Gosh, get off.
I feel that. I remember a guy after my first pitch to him in a game one time yelled back to his teammates, "BP, it's BP."
Yeah. Perfect. You're like, that's what you knew.
I was like, all right. He popped out to me, so.
Oh yeah.
You're really good at hitting BP, dude.
Yeah, that's good.
Thanks.
Yeah, hey, it happens to the best of us.
So it's fine.
Oh my gosh.
That was my first love. I played baseball since I could play baseball.
Right, but you were too bad, so then you played
turned
soccer.
Out I was way better at soccer than baseball. I was also better at basketball than baseball. So I don't.
What was your last year playing baseball?
9th grade, probably.
Okay.
I played 3 sports till 9th grade, and then it was all soccer after that.
But you were homeschooled, so who was on your team? Like.
I played in every league, the city leagues, man. Like, what else do you want?
I'm
Get
sorry.
out of here.
I'm sorry. I can't help it. Amos. I gotta
you're bald. You have no hair.
Hey, Nate.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, come on, baby.
Dang it.
Yeah, take that.
That doesn't work.
You're outnumbered on that one, man.
That's all right.
All right, cool. So Green River, and then you go play St. Martin's. Tell me about St. Martin's. How'd you like that?
It was great, man. So I got put in a kind of a weird situation. So the thing that set me apart, as soon as they turned me into a pitcher, is that I had a stupid good pickoff move. Like I'll preface this because the rest of my career was solely based on my pickoff move. My pitching coach at Green River was left-handed. He played for the Padres organization. And he just taught me a little drill of how to work on a pickoff move, and I just picked it up and ran with it because I knew that was the only way I was going to get playing time. And my freshman year, I picked off 19 guys. I broke the
holy crap!
I broke the NWAC
guys.
Yeah, I broke the NWAC record in 2 weeks.
Oh, the NWAC. I missed the NWAC. I played in the NWAC also.
And NWAC has great competition, man.
There's some good players have come out of the NWAC.
Oh yeah, and then. Get to my sophomore year and I just got more confident. And so my sophomore year, I'm doing all the recruiting trips, trying to find places to go. And, I'm getting recruited by a lot of, NAIA schools, some small D2 schools. Went and visited Jamestown College in North Dakota, which was a fun experience because, because they fly you out there, they treat you right. You're a recruit. They want to bring you over there, but they made the mistake of bringing me out there in, the end of November when it's like -7 degrees.
You're like, hard pass, I'm out.
Exactly. And I do a 6 a.m. workout while I'm over there. We're walking from the dorms to their facility. And they're like, hey man, you're probably going to want to wear this jacket. And I'm like, all right, I'll trust you. And it was the coldest I've ever experienced. And even the head coach was like, yeah, last year, about 3 straight days in the winter, it was actually the coldest place on earth. And I'm like, that's a great recruiting technique right there.
Perfect.
Yeah. But I mean, they were a good program.
Right.
Just, it wasn't the right fit. But at the end of my sophomore year at Green River, I was going to go to Western Oregon.
Okay.
They had a great reputation. Went and did a recruiting trip down there. Had a couple teammates that were down there. And we had been talking with their recruiting coordinator, and he's like, yep, we want you. It sounds great. Would love it. But I didn't hear from him.
Okay.
And so he took a while to give me, my letter of intent. And then at the end of our season at Green River, my sophomore year, all the coaches left.
Okay.
And so when Western Oregon didn't give me my letter of intent, I found out all the coaches were going to St. Martin's.
Okay.
And so the coaches are like, hey, have you signed your letter of intent? I'm like, no. He's like, all right, don't do it yet. We're going to have our offer on the table for you. for you to go to St. Martin's. I'm like, cool. St. Martin's 15 minutes away from my
I was
house.
gonna say, yeah, it's
Way
close.
closer.
So
Yep.
yeah,
Close. And so, I mean, they made it worth my while. And man, I had 2 good years there, man. It was so much fun.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love it. I love it. That's great. So let's take a quick pause. So tell us a little bit about growing up. So like, how did you fall in love with baseball? Like,
Who
give
were your
me
favorite
and
players.
and then give me
growing up?
one good high school story. Honestly, I would prefer to hear the state championship story. I've heard it already, but I want to hear I want you to explain that.
So some people know that story, but people don't know my story of what happened because I kind of
I don't
wasn't
know the story
there.
at all.
All right.
Yeah,
All
this is gonna be good. Oh, I'm excited.
This is a good story.
do
All right.
this.
So
Yeah.
just like when I was younger, man, like my pops was, always into sports. He was a diehard Seahawks fan. Like my pops played football, but I've got an older brother, an older sister, and a younger brother. And my older brother played baseball. My younger brother played baseball. He played college ball for all 4 years. And so like we just grew up playing baseball. And I mean, shoot, man, I grew up, I was born in 89. So I mean, I grew up watching Griffey.
Right.
You grew up watching the kid. I mean, Amos, you got a Griffey jersey right behind you. You all know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, you watch Griffey play, and he's just a hard-nosed baseball player who just takes no names, man. He just plays his ass off, and I mean, he was my idol growing up, man. And like even when I first started playing t-ball and stuff like that, you can find like my mom still has photo albums when they used to exist of me playing t-ball. That was my batting stance, man. I was a left-handed hitter, so was Griffey.
Yeah.
And I had my batting stance exactly like Griffey.
Yeah.
And so Griffey was the one that, like, when I watched the Mariners game, it's Ken Griffey Jr. had his posters on the wall. My favorite number is 24. Hence you were asking what my email is. Every single number I have, like, always ends with the number 24.
Yep.
And actually, every single year that I've played baseball, I've always had to either have number 24 or have a number that is divisible to 24.
I was gonna say because I saw 12. I remember I just saw your 12 jersey. So
yep, and I also have 12 tattooed on the side of my ribs.
Yes,
and it's solely because that was my college and pro number because I was never able to get number 24. It sucked. But yeah, Griffey.
Why would a bullpen pitcher need the number 24?
I don't know because
first
wasn't
of all,
available.
I'm
I
just
don't know.
saying that's
First of all,
wrong. You don't give
how dare
a
you.
specialty lefty out of the bullpen number 24.
Hey, do you know what teams win World Series? Teams with good bullpens. Okay, so don't judge the bullpen pitchers. Okay,
I'm not judging them. They just don't get what number they want. That's just how it goes.
You're not wrong. I know you're like, bro. Why do you have 66? That's weird.
A defender in soccer doesn't wear 11. You're like 9, 10, or 11. You don't wear those numbers. That's not how it goes.
No one cares about soccer. Anyways.
Except for like 8 billion people or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
But they're not Americans, so I'm not worried.
Fair.
Anyways, continue.
Yeah,
continue.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, man. So just growing up, you play, your select summer leagues, your all-star teams, all that stuff. And then, as soon as you get to high school ball, I mean, I played basketball and I played baseball. As soon as I got to high school, it was just baseball. I didn't care about basketball anymore. And I mean, yeah, man, had great 4 years of baseball. I mean, my senior year of high school, we like you were talking about earlier, man, like we went to the state finals, got to play at Safeco Field. Yeah. And if you want to talk about a story, so here's the story.
Yeah. Yes.
So I'm curious of what version you know.
Well, so all I've heard is that it just got crazy and out of hand quickly. That's
okay.
That's the gist of what I got.
Ooh,
is it
fights? Was there fights?
Oh, there's a fight. It's still on YouTube.
Man, baseball fights are hilarious. They're the best.
Yeah. So like, I haven't heard much of the details. I just remember seeing some photos. So I want you to give us the details from your perspective. What went down?
All right, Frankie. I'm gonna give you my story because this is what happened to me, and you have no idea what happened to me. So. So like we get through regionals, all that stuff. Win. We beat like Marysville.
Okay.
We beat Marysville High School. That punched our ticket to the Final Four at Safeco, right? So the night before the game, we all hop on a school bus. We all drive up to Safeco Field because they're doing like an orientation with all the teams.
Right.
Get to walk through all the hallways, walk on the field, go through the press box. You know, they'll show you where to enter and all that jazz. Well, while we were there, I started getting a stomachache.
Uh-oh.
And so we go through everything. It's a blast. You know, all of us are just like, you know, loving the atmosphere. It's like, dude, we're playing in the state finals, man. Like, this is the coolest thing. So after we get done with the tour, we go out to dinner, and my stomach ache's getting worse. Like, I can't eat. I can't burp. I can't, tense up. I end up getting home that night. I talked to my folks, and my folks are like, all right, let's just take you into the hospital to see what's going on.
Right.
I got to the hospital about an hour before my appendix was about to burst.
Oh.
What?
Yeah.
Oh.
So at about 1 o'clock in the morning, the 1 o'clock in the morning, that game is at 7 o'clock that night.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
My doctor comes in and says, hey, man, we're prepping you for surgery. We got to get your appendix out because you're going to burst here probably within like the next 45 minutes to an hour. And I'm like, oh, this is awesome. Great.
Right.
So,
biggest game of your life tomorrow.
yeah, biggest game of my career, like my life. And actually, even at that point, I hadn't even like made a decision to go college baseball. So at this point, I'm thinking, oh shoot, man, this
could be it.
This could be it. And this happens to me, like seriously. And so they end up getting me in surgery. Like an hour later, I get out. I'm laying in a hospital bed and all that stuff. And my parents were making phone calls, my parents ended up going to the school, going to talk to the coaches because they were all teachers there.
Yeah.
And letting them know what's going on. And, you know, that day they had an assembly. And so they had an assembly and like they ended up breaking the news. It was like I was in a damn car wreck, man.
Yeah.
Like, they broke the news to like the entire assembly. Like, you know, we just got word, you know, like our first baseman, Nate O'Brien, you know, he's in the hospital right now. It's he had to get his appendix removed, you know, an emergency appendectomy. And it was like the first that all the players heard about it. And they were like,
what
is going on? Like, yeah. And so then my phone starts getting blown up because they're like, dude, where are you? Like, what's going on? All this stuff. And then, so like after the assembly, all the coaches ended up just getting subs. Like they ended up coming and visited me in the hospital, all that jazz. And I got like the greatest gift ever from McDougal, you know, the head coach. You know, they gave me a card, all my teammates signed it. And he gives me the damn lineup card that has my name on it. Like batting in the 6 hole, playing first base. I'm like, man, that's really cool sentiment, but I'm not in the game. Like,
yeah, you're like, this is rough. Yeah, you're like, this is rough.
Exactly. So, dude, completely out of my hands, man. Like, I'm a firm believer that God has a plan for everything.
Yeah,
and so, honestly, I feel like the reason why that happened is because I was supposed to die in a car wreck that night or something like that.
Right. Something would have been.
There's no other reason why that would happen to me when God knows that how important baseball is to me,
yeah,
kind of thing.
Sure.
And so that night I'm laying in the hospital bed and like my dad and my brother and my sister ended up going to the game. My mom stayed in the hospital with me. And so I'm getting text updates from my brother. My brother's a freshman at the time, you know, so he just finished his freshman year of high school ball. And so I'm calling him and in the semifinal game against Snohomish, we ended up like giving up like three errors two errors in the first inning, gave up 3 runs. Okay. So we're like down 3-0 like the entire game. Right. And so I'm getting text updates. I'm calling my brother. I'm like, yo, what's going on with the game? He's like, oh, no, they went 1-2-3. They went 1-2-3. You know, we're still down 3-0. And then like the 6th inning rolls around and it's it's the bottom of the 6th because we were home. And I call my brother and he's talking to me. He's just like, hey, man, like we got a runner on, you know, still down 3-0. And Champlin was up. Champlin ends up going yard. Champlin ends up going at Safeco and makes it a 3-2 ball game. And so, I'm in the hospital. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Yeah, of course. You know, I'm doing what I can. You know,
right, for sure. Yeah,
a little bit what I can. And so I'm like, all right, okay, cool, man. I'll call you back in like a couple minutes. You know, in the top half or whatever. So I call my brother in the top half, and I was like, all right, what's going on? He's like, all right, Conley's in a jam. You know, Adam Conley. You know, if you guys don't know, Adam Conley played 08. With us. He played at Wazoo. He's up in the Miami Marlins organization right now. He's in the bigs. And so he was the dude. He was the
good.
Dude.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Adam was a left-handed pitcher, you know, a high school senior throwing 92, 93, just blowing up kids.
Yeah.
And so Adam's going another CG. It's the 7th inning. There's a runner at third, and there's 2 outs. And so I'm talking to my brother. I'm like, all right, man, stay on the phone with me. What's going on? And he's like, all right, man. Yeah, he's got a, he's 1-0 count, runner at third, 2 outs. I'm like, all right, cool. And then my brother's like, oh, wait, there's a pass ball. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, dude, they got him out of home. Oh, dude. Oh, Adam just got him in a chokehold. Oh, dude, the bench is just cleared. Oh, dude, there's a fight. And I'm like, what? What the hell is going on, dude?
Yes.
He's like, hold on. Everything's clearing right now. And come to find out, there was a pass ball. The runner at third tried to score. Our catcher ends up getting the pass ball, tossing it to Adam. Adam tagged him out before he got to the plate. And you can YouTube Adam Conley fight. And the video's up there. As soon as Adam tags the guy out at the plate, Adam tries to get up, and you see him get yanked back down by his jersey. So then Adam just ends up whipping him around and gets him in a rear naked chokehold.
Oh,
and that's when all the benches just cleared. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
And then Adam gets they called the out. Adam got tossed, and so Adam was ejected from the game. And then what people don't see at the end of the video, actually, you can see Adam raise his hand. What he did was flip off the entire crowd of Snohomish High School.
Oh my!
So Adam got ejected from the game, and he got suspended for the next game. Yeah, so he couldn't even suit up for the final day. We ended up losing the game 3-2, but he couldn't even suit up, to play first base, which is probably where he would have been, for the third, fourth place game.
Dude. That is insane. Hold on one second. Let me see this real quick. I think I can get the video up here. Hold on.
It's good. It's only I want to say it's only about like a minute, 10 seconds or something.
Yeah, I was going to say, it doesn't look long. Let me see here. Let me see if I can get it up. Oh, sorry. Can you guys hear that? Oh, yeah, dude. We're about to get it up. Here it is. Boom. Boom. All right. Can everybody see it?
I can see it.
I can see it.
All right. Perfect. All right. Can you guys hear? Can you hear the volume as well?
I hear no volume, but I don't need to hear volume. I just want to see them fight each other.
Yeah, the volume. Yeah, you don't really need the volume for it. I mean, I think he ends up throwing like two pitches here or something like that.
All right. Yeah, I can hear your commentary too, which means everybody else can. So. All Nate, right. You can keep giving us commentary.
All right, yeah. Adam, just like I said, man, Adam was just the dude on our staff. He has like 6 school records for strikeouts, batting average against.
Here it comes.
Yeah.
Oh, here it is.
And here's the tag. Adam tries to get up and he gets yanked down, and then he just whips him around and gets him in a chokehold.
Oh, he's got him in a rear naked right now.
Yeah, man. And all the coaches are yelling at him, get back, get back. Everyone's just, dude, it's a high school baseball, man. You don't see benches clear like this in high school baseball.
I was going to say that doesn't happen. Was that did I just see Corwin? Was Corwin? Yeah, Corwin was out there. Yeah.
Corwin was in there.
Oh, dude.
There's Damon with the high
Yeah, there's Damon. I saw that. Yeah, there's Damon. Oh my gosh, dude. That is crazy.
Yeah, and what's funny too is that the starting pitcher for Snohomish, I think his name was like Derek Jones. He ended up he was a senior that year too. He went to Wazoo and played with Adam.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. Snohomish ended up winning the whole thing too that year.
Oh my gosh, dude, that is insane. I remember seeing that video, but for some reason I forgot that he got him in a rear naked. I forgot that. I mean, like he could have put him to sleep.
Dude, the repercussions of that were just so I don't want to say ridiculous. It was, I mean, I understand, you get in a fight, you get ejected, you flip off the entire crowd.
Right.
Not a good look.
No.
But it was ejected from the game, suspended for the next game. He got stripped of his pitcher of the year, because back then it was the Narrows League.
See, I never heard that. I didn't know he got stripped. What?
He got stripped of that title, and he had to write an apology letter to Snohomish High School and the WIAA for that.
Oh, dude, that's doing too much, man. That is doing
a little bit.
And you weren't even there to defend him. His first baseman. You're supposed to be there.
To be honest, it's probably good you weren't there, Nate. Let's be honest.
Yeah, to an extent, man. If I was there and I was healthy, I don't care if I would have got beaten the hell up. I would have gone.
No, that's what I'm saying. I know you. You would have been throwing. Like, you would have been throwing hands. Like, somebody would have caught a
I'm also
two-piece.
a diehard wrestling fan, so I would have gone in there like Goldberg and tried to lay out a spear.
People's elbows.
Exactly. Hit someone with a Stone Cold Stunner, which would never happen in real life.
Right.
You would try it, though. You would just go for it.
Oh, absolutely. I would have tried. Absolutely.
Oh, my gosh. Speaking of, yes, I remember I read on your Instagram that you are a wrestling fanatic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. So who's your guy? Who's your guy?
You got to give me an era, though. Like, if we're talking all time,
Yeah, give me all time.
All time, Shawn Michaels.
Okay.
The Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. He is the top of my Mount Rushmore.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it.
He's the dude, man. And somehow my wife does not care that I watch wrestling. I don't get it.
You're like, you know what?
Have
you been to a live event?
Oh man, yes. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yes.
So I'll have a couple wrestling stories then. So I've probably gone to like 15, 20 shows. Okay.
Holy crap! So you're not lying.
They don't go through the West Coast that often, but like anytime I can, I'll go.
Yeah.
Best seats I ever had though. Me and two other buddies, we got like 5th row right on the entrance ramp.
Oh.
And so like the other two, like my other two buddies, you know, they're wrestling fans, but like they knew that I was a diehard, and so they let me take the inside seat.
Okay, yeah.
And so like I got to watch the Undertaker 3 feet from me walk down the aisle.
It's a massive human being.
Dude, that's awesome. Somebody just commented on Facebook right before you said that their favorite of all time is the Undertaker.
Dude, the Undertaker, no joke, man. Like when he walks down and you see the smoke, the bells going, like he is a massive human being. Like I've gotten a hug from John Cena, Rob Van Dam.
John Cena is way smaller than you think he is.
He's
short. I mean, he's built,
but man, he is built like a shit.
I saw him in the airport. And I was like, oh dang, he's like, he's got to be like 5'6" or something. He's like tiny.
He's not that tall, but man, he is a massive human being.
Yeah, he's jacked for sure.
Yeah.
We got somebody for Rey Mysterio because he used him in the old video game.
Rey Mysterio was awesome because he was fast and
there it is.
I like Rey Mysterio. Well, he spelt Ray wrong, but we'll.
Come on, Tyler.
Come on, Ty. I wouldn't know. I don't pay attention to wrestling, but to be fair, I'm like one of those guys that's like, oh yeah, The Rock, the coolest.
Right, like the only person you know.
Hey, he is cool though. To be fair,
he is. Come on, man. He's
he's on
the Mount Rushmore too. Come on, like he's a household name. But
I was gonna say, but that's the thing is he was an incredible wrestler, but then he's a huge celebrity. Like he's an incredible actor. So it's like, all right, bro, I see.
How do you go from almost being in the NFL and getting hurt to singing in a Disney movie? Like that's a documentary I'll watch.
Well, because
I want to hear his life story.
Well, he's also a second-generation wrestler. Like third generation. His father, Rocky Johnson. Then he has his grandfather, High Chief Peter Maivia.
See, he really knows
everything.
Stuff.
I know way too much, dog.
I knew that it wasn't his, like he was at least second generation, but still
amazing.
And he's be in the NFL, and then he ends up wrestling, and then he ends up in a Disney movie, and now he's in every action movie you ever watch.
Yo,
he's like 2 or 3 movies a year somehow.
Yo, Central Intelligence with Kevin Hart though. Oh,
pretty funny.
That was funny. He played a really good idiot in that one.
I know, dude. He did so good.
Yeah, man. I got to meet. Here's a baseball story for you then. So I actually got to meet his dad and Jerry the King Lawler.
Okay.
So my rookie year of pro ball, playing in Rockford, Illinois, we're playing down at Gateway, the Gateway Grizzlies in St. Louis.
Okay.
And they run promotions all the time, and it was wrestling night. And sure enough, Rocky Johnson and Jerry the King Lawler were there throwing out ceremonial first pitches, and everybody on the roster knew I was a diehard. And so before the game started, I went over there, got a picture with both Rocky Johnson and Jerry Lawler, got Jerry Lawler's autograph, and I mean he was super cool, and his 25-year-old wife was super cool too, and they're good people.
Good people. It's 25.
It's like his 4th wife, and I went up to her. I was like, hey.
They keep getting younger.
I thought it was his daughter, and he's just like, oh yeah, you can talk to my husband, and I was like, oh okay, didn't know you were married to him, but all right, cool.
Oh,
sounds good.
That's too much.
To answer Tyler Rey Mysterio in that old WW whatever game, he was legit. Like he was a guy you could do all the moves with, jump off the ropes and stuff.
I was terrible at those
flyer.
games. I'm a habitual button masher, so I'm just like, I'm terrible.
I only played like one of them, but Rey Mysterio in that one game that I did play was.
Oh my god.
He was kind of like the dude.
Those N64 wrestling games.
Yeah, it was the N64.
Yep. Those games were too much fun. I actually still have one. And all those games.
Of course you do.
And all those games. Oh.
I have no idea where my 64 is.
Oh, we turned them into drinking games. And so, like,
right,
you have a party night, you play a Royal Rumble, you choose your character. Every single time you're eliminated, you have to keep drinking your beer till your new wrestler enters the ring. It's an easy game.
That's great.
Wow.
That is amazing. Oh, my gosh.
It's an easy game to play, man.
Oh, we should see. That's what we need, a live stream us playing that game.
I'm down. I am down for that.
That is a winning. That's winning for sure. All right. Well, let's get back to it, bro. So St. Martin's, right? And then where do you go from St. Martin's?
So after St. Martin's, I didn't get drafted or anything like that. And rightfully so. I mean, it's not like I was putting up, crazy numbers or getting scouted or anything like that. But my buddy Jeremy Genlick, he heard about this league down in California called the California Winter League. And, you pay X amount of dollars, fly down there, and you play for a month. You play 5 games a week. You're coached by either pro scouts or pro coaches, that are mostly Frontier League, Atlantic League, American Association League. And it's just a showcase, hey, man, just go down there, have a good showing, and, see if you can get, picked up. And, luckily for me, I went down there and had a really good showing. Like I said, my pickoff move was, my bread and butter. And I picked off 9 guys in 9 appearances. And
first of all, why are you letting that many guys on base that you have to pick them off every single appearance?
Because, dude, I gave up a lot of base hits. But the thing was, that's why my number stayed so low, because they got on first base, but they never scored. So what would it matter?
Fair enough.
Yeah. And so, that's what my college coaches realized. They're like, all right, dude, if his batting average against is going to be like 315, but if he's not letting anybody score, then who cares?
Right. All right. So I got a quick question for you. So for those of you that don't know, there's an angle that you're not supposed to break on a pickoff move, right?
Right.
There's an angle.
45 degrees. 45 degrees.
Right. But I need you to tell the truth to everybody hearing this. You broke it every time. That's the secret.
So I stepped at 46 degrees.
Oh.
No, listen. Just listen. With when you're playing once you get to an MLB affiliate and you're playing, through those minor league ranks, you've got a 3, 4, 5, 6-man umpiring crew.
Right, so they can see all the angles.
With a 2-man umpiring crew, you've got the dude behind the dish, and if there's a runner at first base, he's either in the B or C slot, so he's behind you. Yeah. They technically cannot make that a balk call.
Right.
And so throughout my entire career, I got called balk twice.
You were basically cheating the whole time.
No,
I knew what the system was.
Yeah, that's right.
I knew what the system was, and so I knew what I was allowed to get away with.
You're not trying. Come on.
Exactly.
Hey, Nato, you remember Nate Burris?
Oh yeah, I do.
That's what he just said.
With a whip of 3 and an ERA of 2. Burris, you're spot on.
Oh, Burris, I love it.
But so I got a story for you then. So when I was down in California, the day that I found out that I was going to get signed, right? So like I said, good showing, 9 appearances, 9 pickoffs. So they brought me in the game in the 7th or 8th inning. There was a runner at third, and he was the tying run, and there was 2 outs. There was the big donkey 4-hitter that was up, and I was like, screw this. I had already pitched 2 of the last 3 days. I'm already tired, but you can't tell anybody that. Here's your chance. You just got to make do. And so I end up hitting the guy on the first pitch on purpose just to get him on first base. And then, so the way I always did my sequence, I always ended up throwing at least 1 pitch to a hitter, to set up my pickoff move. I'd intentionally throw a ball. So threw a ball, pick the guy off to end the inning. So as soon as I end the inning, picking the guy off, I walk off the field, and my manager, his name was Ricky Van Asselberg. straight from Louisiana.
I can't handle his name.
Dude, I know. Like, he was the head coach of the Grand Prairie Air Hogs out of Texas.
Yes.
The Grand Prairie Air Hogs, okay? So as soon as I pick the guy off and walk off the field, he comes up to me and, like, he's got thick Louisiana accent. He's like, hey, OB, hey, you hit that guy on purpose to pick him off? I was like, yes, I did. He's like, congratulations, kid. You just earned yourself a contract. And I'm like, awesome. Like flying high. No, dude, story gets better. Believe me, it gets better.
Oh, my God.
And so I'm like, and my day was done right there. So, like, I'm in the dugout. Like, you just worked your whole life, to try and, get a pro contract. And that just happened to me. And so after the game, I talked to Ricky and he's just like, hey, find me tomorrow. I'll have a contract for you. I'm like, all right, great. We play at 8:00 in the morning the next day. And so, we go through the game. I can't even remember what the game was, won or lost. I can't remember. But after the game, I go up to Ricky and it's like 10:30 in the morning. And I go up to Ricky and I'm like, hey, Ricky, you got that contract. And he's got his shades on. It's an overcast day. And he's just like, OB, I got to tell you something. I'm like, all right, what's up? He's like, all right, I'm a little drunk from last night still. So I'm going to have your contract tomorrow. And I'm like, all right, Ricky, no problem, man. No problem. I got you. That's fine. So because my manager was too drunk from the night before, he didn't bring my contract the next day for me to sign. And so I had to wait another day for him to sober up.
Wait, and are you guys playing?
Yeah, he was straight up coaching while he was still drunk from the night before. Like, I found out after the whole entire, winter season was over, that a lot of those coaches go there because they do get to see talent that they don't normally get to see. Everything is paid for them. And so it's just a week-long or a month-long vacation in Palm Springs, California, man.
Jeez.
So, and dude, he's straight up Louisiana dude living in Texas, being a baseball coach, man. That's what you do. You go to a game, amazing. You finish a game, you drink, you drink till you can't feel feelings, and then you do it again.
Oh my gosh, that is amazing.
I think that's the first time I've ever heard of somebody intentionally hitting a batter so
to
he
pick
could
them off.
I've done that multiple times.
And that it succeeded. I don't know if I've ever heard that before.
Oh yeah. Wow. Yeah, it's so dude, like I said earlier, man, my fastball was 83 on a good day. I'm not gonna blow it by everybody. I could mix in my breaking or my off-speed pitches and stuff like that and just have guys bleed into the ground. But if I got to pitch around a guy or if I knew a dude is flying, I don't want to give up a double. So I'll just live low in the zone. Right. And he's either gonna bleed a ball up the middle or I'm just gonna walk him and I'll just take my chances on picking him off.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, and so
pitch around him, try to pick him off. I got it.
Exactly, and it just, history shows that it kind of worked. It worked. I was like, all right, fine, just roll with it, whatever.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so then you ended up got drunk coach Ricky, our boy Ricky.
Yeah, Ricky Van Asselberg.
If you ever hear this, Ricky, I'm not making fun of you. I love you. You're great. Anyway,
I don't even know if he's alive still, to be honest, man.
Oh God.
Well, I know he ain't coaching in Grand Prairie anymore.
Oh my gosh. Well, if he's not alive, rest in peace, my friend. Anyways, so he sobers up, you get the contract, correct?
Yep. Sobers up. Next day, he gives me the contract. Everything was all good. Signed it, gave it back to him. The transaction was, good. All right, sweet, cleared, whatever paperwork it was. But I didn't go to Grand Prairie. I didn't report there. Uh-oh. So after everything was done, I had Ricky's number and everything like that. I'm signed in the American Association, where if anybody knows anything about independent professional baseball, you have the Frontier League, which is your 19 to 25, 26-year-old guys who just never got drafted out of college. Okay. Gotcha. You have the American Association, which you get paid a lot better, but you've got 27 to 35-year-old dudes who played affiliated ball a little bit.
Yeah. Maybe washed out of the minors.
Exactly. And then you have the Atlantic League, and the Atlantic League are every person either played AAA or in the bigs, and you're making decent money.
Okay. Yeah.
Your max contract is probably $8,000 a month, playing the Atlantic League.
That's not bad.
Exactly. Yeah. And so I signed my contract to go play for Grand Prairie in the American Association. So like I'm supposed to be playing with older guys who've got some time in the system and stuff like that. And so like I knew like my report day was it was like first part of April. And so I'm getting to like the second, third week of March, and I haven't heard anything from Ricky. And the way those a lot of the ways the independent leagues work out is like they hook you up with a host family. You stay there. They open their house for you. They give you a bed. They treat you well. Some people get great host families. Some people don't. I got lucky and had great host families. My years playing in the Frontier League, but 2 weeks before I'm supposed to report, I call Ricky and I'm like, hey, Ricky, I was like, hey, man, like I haven't gotten any info of like where I need to report, who my host family is or anything. Right. And he's just like, oh, damn, OB, man. Hey, shoot, I forgot to tell you. Hey, man, you got traded. And I'm like,
you're like, right. What?
Yeah, he forgot to tell me I got traded. And I'm like, okay. He's like, yeah, man, do you remember that one coach, Rich Austin? And I'm like, no. He's like, yeah, he was down in California. He was that big black dude. And I'm just like, oh, okay, yeah, I know who you're talking about now. He's like, yeah, he's the head coach of the Rockford Aviators in Illinois. He's gonna call you in an hour. And I'm like, all right, appreciate the help, Ricky. Thank you.
Really, thanks, bud.
Cool. Yeah, appreciate it, dude. And so, sure enough, an hour later, Rich Austin, the manager of Rockford, he gives me a call. He gets me all set up, and he's like, hey, here's your host family. They're gonna call you tomorrow. This is the day you need to report. He just gave me the little ins and outs and stuff like that. So. Yeah, I went from playing in California to getting signed by a team in Texas. And, I'm telling everybody, like, had a going-away party. It's like, yep, going to Texas. Going to be a Texas boy. Love it. And I'm going to the cornfields in Illinois.
Oh, man. That is too much. What were you, like, what was your thought process? Like, you hang up the phone with good old Ricky. Like, what are you thinking? Like, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking he is the biggest idiot I've ever met in my life. I'm like, I'm sorry, man, but how do you forget to tell a dude you're traded?
Right.
But I found out within a week of me being in Rockford of what happened.
Okay.
So what happened is that the coaches that are down in the California League, they can only sign so many guys. Rich signed. He was already at his max capacity. And so they found a loophole in the system to where another team can sign me and they would just trade me for a later considerations, or it'd be like the movie Semi-Pro and I get traded for, a washing machine, like it could have been anything like that. And so that's how I found out that Rich was the one who wanted me the entire time, but he had already maxed out his signings. And so that's why I ended up there. It's just, there was a big break in the communication to where I wasn't told I got traded.
You weren't told anything.
No. And then I found out, I looked on the website and I saw the transaction that I was traded like 2 weeks before I had the conversation with Ricky.
No.
Yeah. They did the paperwork and traded me and I didn't even know it. And they posted
Ricky Boy's still toasted, so he's still drunk. He doesn't remember.
Yeah, I know. Too much crawfish, man.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah, so that was my first taste. But in it, like hindsight being 2020, that was the best move. Because if I would have gone down to the American Association, like I was 23 years old, like I was fresh out of college, confident in my abilities, but man, I would have been playing with some old crafty vets, and I probably would have got lit up. The Frontier League is where I needed to be.
All right, perfect. All right, cool. So then you end up, all right, so you get to Illinois. All right, you're in the cornfields. All right, let's go. How does that go?
Man, it was awesome. So the way a lot of those leagues work, you got 2 weeks, for a spring training so they can make their roster cuts, and then, hey, you got your first series. Those seasons are 96 games. Mm-hmm. It's just like a minor league schedule, man. You're playing 7 days a week.
Wow.
Spring training was awesome though, because, got to meet really cool dudes. The atmosphere is fun, especially being 23 years old, first year of pro ball, you're thinking, so dude, I'm getting paid, to play baseball. Right. I'm getting paid kibbles and bits,
but it doesn't matter. It's like,
I don't care.
Yeah. I know exactly how that goes.
Exactly, Amos. Yeah, we were talking about it before we went on the air. Like it doesn't matter, man. You're getting paid to play a children's game, and so it's like whatever, man. It's amazing. I got lucky with parents who supported me throughout this whole entire thing, and man, like I was making enough money to put gas in my Jeep and tobacco in my lip. That was about it, man.
That's it. That's all you got.
Well, because those leagues, they make it really easy for you to save money because, like, you're put up with a host family, so you don't have to pay, any, apartments and stuff like that. Your host family, they'll hook you up with food. They'll give you breakfast. Right. And at the field, you always get a pregame and a postgame meal. Some organizations are better than others. Rockford was not that way. Every single team, every pregame meal was always a bag of chips and like unlimited amount of PB&Js, man. I don't think I've ever had a. What's that?
We lost you for a second, but you're back. You're good.
Okay. I don't think I've had a PB&J in like the last maybe 6 years because I had so many while you're there.
Dude, my gosh.
Dude, it's ridiculous. And then like your post-game meal, like I said, it all depends on the stadium that you play at. Some places like Southern Illinois Miners, they have a phenomenal post-game spread. It's always sandwich platters, fruit platters, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And you go to Rockford, your post-game is the old burgers and hot dogs that they didn't sell.
I was about to say, the leftovers.
Yep.
I wouldn't complain.
That's what you got. Dude, but when you're like trying to stay healthy and stuff like that, like it's so hard to do. Like the guy I made best friends with on my team, his name was Drew Rosinski. And Drew ended up getting picked up halfway through the year by the Angels, made his big league debut a year later. He's still playing in Japan right now. But I mean, me and him, like your schedule is you wake up at noon, you go to the gym, you get to the field at like 3 for BP. Pitchers do your throwing, your bullpen days, your conditioning, you shag BP, go back to the locker room, you take your shower, game time, you might play, you might not, game's over, go back to the clubhouse, shower, and then you go to the bar.
Yeah.
Like, that was it. And, like, don't get me wrong. Being 23 years old and single, it was awesome.
That's what I was going to ask you. I was like, were you single at this point?
I was single at that point, but I ended up seeing a girl that actually worked for the organization, like, within, like, typical. The last – dude, it happens all the time. But, I mean – But, I mean, like, I never really, like, delved into that stuff, where some of the other players were, like, hard on Tinder and stuff like that. That wasn't me. I just always like going out with the boys, have a couple drinks, shoot some pool, talk baseball. I mean, we played in Chicago. So, I mean, Blackhawks were, the bread and butter there. Everyone's a diehard hockey fan. And so I ended up, loving, hockey out there. And so we'd always go to the bar, watch the, the end of the Blackhawks game. And sure enough, that year they ended up winning the Stanley Cup. And so it was, crazy atmosphere out there. But I mean, dude, those days in Rockford were fun. Our team was awful though. Like I think we finished dead last, but I mean, dude, you want to talk about like a revolving door of players. Like it was insane of how many guys that like I played with got released. Like we're there for a week, got released. Like here's a story for you from like one of our big name starters, right? His name was Derek Stoltz. Okay, he was a Florida dude, big donkey righty. And like he threw 91, 92, like he was a good starter. Yeah. But like 2 months into the season, he had a really bad lull of like 2-3 really bad starts.
Okay.
And so if you play pro ball and you're a starting pitcher, if you have 2 or 3 bad starts, you're on the chopping block, man. Like that's your job. Yeah, like if you're not doing your job, you're gone. Like that's what it is. And so there was like his third start, we were playing Joliet in Chicago, and like he ends up getting tatered in like the second inning and he gets pulled. And so I ended up having to come in for him and doing his mop-up duty in long relief. And so I end up going like 2 or 3 innings or something like that, just, trying to get through the game. We were already getting blown out at that point. And so after I get done, I walk through the dugout, go to the clubhouse, and because I wanted to get my spikes off. That's usually what you do as a pitcher. Once you're done, get your spikes off, all that jazz. So I go to the clubhouse. As soon as I walk in the clubhouse is torn apart.
Oh no.
Stoltz lost his mind and just flipped the food table over, dumped the water jug.
Food? Come on, man.
It was PB&J. Who cares, man? Yeah, he like beat the water jug with a baseball bat like he tore it up. I'm pretty sure he took a fine for that one.
But he
tore it up. So, and so like he was in his locker when I walked in. I'm like I walk in and I know what happened. Like I know I know he finished. He beat the crap out of this place. And so I went and changed my shoes and I walked out. Like I went right back to the dugout. Yeah, and I'm like whispering in guys' ear. I'm like, dude, wait till after the game when you walk in the clubhouse. It's gonna look good. It's gonna look good, dude. And so,
oh man,
yeah. And so he ended up, like I said, I'm pretty damn sure he took a fine for that one. And so he's already pissed off because it's like his third straight bad start in a row. And so his next start was at home. So we're playing at home, and the way our field set up in Rockford, it kind of sucked. It was kind of like the Oakland Coliseum, to where like the bullpens were on the field but in foul territory.
Oh yep. Mm-hmm.
Right. And so ours was on the third base line, but our clubhouse was like a big building that was over in the right field corner.
Wow.
And so I know it was total bad layout. So the only way for us to go to the clubhouse in the middle of a game is either sprint through the center field gate during the middle of an inning, or walk through the stands up the concourse during an inning. But if you play baseball, like you never want to do that.
Right.
Like it's awkward. It's weird. Like you don't do that. And so Stoltz, he's getting prepped, for his start. And, he's doing it like a normal starter does, does his pregame routine, and he throws his pregame bullpen. And so we're, all the pitchers, we're in the bullpen, we're watching him throw, and he is just 94, 95, just painting black, throwing nasty sliders. He had a splitter that was disgusting, just dropping off the table. And so he's like 20 pitches into it. He tells his catcher, our catcher, he's like, hey, one more fastball, and just toss this one had to have been like 95, 96, just peppers one down the middle.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, give me one more. Gets the ball back. He's like, fastball. And like I said, it's set up like the Oakland Coliseum. So if you overthrow a ball, it's going to home plate.
Yeah.
He purposely hucked a fastball over the catcher's head and goes straight to home plate. And we're all like looking around like, dude, like, what did he just do that for? And I'll censor myself, but he looks back at us and he's just like, that bullpen was too fucking good. And if you're a pitcher, if you throw a really good bullpen, you're going to get lit up during the game.
Right. Yeah. So he had to throw something bad.
Exactly. He had to break the juju. And so, sure enough, he doesn't get out of the first inning.
No.
And I come in I do mop-up duty again. And so I end up going like 4 innings out of the bullpen, gave up like 3-4 runs. Like I was a left-handed specialist, but like our team was so bad that my role never got called on a lot. And so it was like, all right, OB needs some innings. All right, hey, dude, sorry, man. But hey, you're used to throwing to 1 to 2 batters, but here, throw 3 to 4 innings. Cool, dude.
Awesome.
Awesome, man. So I get done with my outing, and I'm sitting in the dugout. Like I said, you're not going to go to the clubhouse, in between innings or all that jazz. So, I'm in the dugout. Game gets over, and at one point during the game, I was like, hey, has anyone seen Stoltz? And they were like, no, dude. Like after he got pulled, he ended up walking through the crowd and like ended up walking to the clubhouse. So we're like, great. Like clubhouse is going to get torn apart. Great. So game gets over. We walk through the center field gate. We walk up to the clubhouse. We walk into the clubhouse. Clubhouse is spotless. Okay. Nothing got torn up.
Uh-oh.
His locker is completely empty.
No.
He quit during the middle of the game after he got pulled. He packed up his shit and left.
No.
He got in his Mustang and drove right to Florida. That was the last time I saw him.
That's crazy.
He was like, I'm done.
I'm out. Sorry.
I'm done with it. I'm out. Screw this. I'm out. Went right back to Florida.
He pulled like a Griffey exit, except he's not Griffey.
Oh, that's
exactly, dude. Like I had never heard of.
No.
And I was playing with guys who, some of them had minor league experience, playing affiliated ball, and like they're like, dude, I've never heard of anything like this. I've never seen anything like this before. And I was just like, dude, what the hell? And quit mid game.
No, dude, that is too.
The last time I saw Stoltz, the legend of Derek Stoltz.
Good Lord. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, this is the worst podcast etiquette, but I gotta pee really bad. So I'm gonna take myself out of here. You guys continue with some stories and then I'll be right back.
Let's do this.
You're good, man.
So you're Washington born and raised.
Yep.
We love that. Mariners are your team, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Love and hate. You gotta love and hate.
I know, but it's just so rough, man. I mean, you haven't played a playoff game since 2001. You know, you've come close 3 times to a playoff spot and just it doesn't happen. And it sucks because like I said earlier, like I got a younger brother and an older sister, and my brothers are diehard Mariners fans. And I'm like, dude, I have sat through so many seasons of just piss poor baseball that I'm like, man, I'm sorry. I'm not going to pay attention to them until they're above 500 at the All-Star break.
Well, they were a couple of years ago, but
they were, and I was paying attention.
But you knew they were going to fall apart at the end. That's the problem.
Yeah, but you still got to be hopeful, and you don't want them to break your heart, and they end up doing it. And it's just like, you know, you're always going to support them, but I mean, it's just so hard to sit through a 9-inning game. Just like, I mean, especially, you know, when 5 games under 500 or, you know, you're 9 games out of a wild card spot and there's, you know, 6 weeks left in the season, you know, in Oakland or Houston or Anaheim is, you know, on a hot streak. And you're just like, all right, well, great. Mariners are going to end up just going, you know, 5-5 in the next 10-game road series. So it's hard for me to watch Mariners baseball now.
Do you know much about the team right now?
I know a little bit. I'll be honest, man. Like, I do not follow a lot of baseball over like the last couple years. Like, so
Gotcha.
what I do now for work, like, is not associated with baseball, but my previous 3 years, I was working for a tournament company called GSL Tournaments, and we would run baseball tournaments 6 months out of the year. And, I mean, like, I was a tournament director. And so, like, we did all the signups, we rented the field, set up the schedules, did all the trophy presentations. We did tournaments for ages 9 through 18U. And so, I mean, I got so burnt out of baseball just from doing that job that I stopped watching.
Gotcha. Well, let's not talk about the Mariners then. I won't ask you any questions about those guys because you don't care. Let's get one more good story. One more crazy. Like, what is? I mean, we've heard some crazy stories, but is there anything else that sticks out like that's just ridiculous?
Man,
even outside of the baseball field, like spring training or training camp or stuff like that, that you.
Yeah, I could tell you a story about I could tell you a story when I was playing in Europe though. That was
yes,
so
please.
Yeah, we can go the Europe route. So after I finished my second year in the Frontier League, ended up Frank, do you Ryan Bean?
Oh, I love Ryan. Yep.
Ryan was playing over in the Czech Republic.
Okay. Yes, I knew that. Yeah.
Ryan is the reason why I got over there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so like I was already prepped and like so there was at this year in 2015 there was a new pro league that was actually going to happen in Washington State.
Okay.
It was called the Mount Rainier Professional Baseball League. Never got off the ground. Like that league was so bad that like it folded within like the first 2 days of spring training because people were sleeping on gym mats at like the field that they were like playing at. It was bad. And so I was supposed to go play in Moses Lake, but I was supposed to go and play in Moses Lake. So, I mean, I was training, I was throwing my bullpens, I was doing all my stuff to be ready. Well, about like a month before I was supposed to report, Ryan gets a hold of me and said, "Hey man, do you want to go play in Europe?" And I'm like, yes, absolutely. Yeah. Like, I don't have a career right now. I'm not married or have kids. So absolutely. Right. So I end up getting Facebook friends with the manager. I sent him a bullpen video. He's like, "Hey man, love it. When can you come out?" I'm like, "Can you give me 2 weeks?" I don't hear from him from a day. And randomly he just sends me a Facebook message saying, "Here's your flight information. You fly out in 2 weeks." And I'm like, boom. Awesome. Perfect. Love it. So go fly out there, playing in the Czech Republic. Baseball is not that big over there. So there's like 150, 200 fans like per game. But the team I played for was the Yankees over there, man. Like 20 titles in 21 years. Like, like they had a gorgeous stadium, like restaurant on the concourse. I lived in an apartment underneath the stadium.
What?
So this was my schedule, like during game days. We would go do BP like normal.
Yep.
I would do my normal pitching routine, my stretches, all that jazz. And as soon as we were done with BP and the opposing team would come do their BP, I would just walk around to the backside of the stadium and walk into my apartment. And I would sit on the couch and watch The Office until
That's
Yes.
right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yes.
That's the only thing you need to watch.
yeah,
Greatest
because
show ever.
I
No.
was able to get Netflix over there and The Office was on there, and I love The Office. And
Oh,
so
yes.
I would just watch like a good 2-3 episodes of The Office until BP was done for the opposing team. They would do the introductions and whatnot. Then I would just walk out my back door, walk through the gate, and walk right onto the field.
Yes.
And it was like
That's
the greatest
a setup
kid.
right there. Yeah, that's a setup.
Oh,
right there.
it was awesome. And so
Did you guys win the championship that year?
we did.
Okay.
We did.
You gotta
Yeah.
get that ship. You gotta get the ship.
Oh yeah. That was a blast. Like that was like the best season statistics I've ever had. Like I threw so well. Like they brought me in there as like a setup guy, and then I turned into a closer, and then I turned into a long relief guy, and then they turned me into, okay, we're in a jam. Just go, Nate. Nate, just go.
That's awesome.
Well, I mean, I'll be honest, man. The competition over there was good. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, I could get away with a fastball up.
Yeah.
I could.
Right.
And so, but I mean, like, it was still a blast, a learning experience, learning new culture and all that stuff. But they didn't realize that I am a weird left-handed pitcher. Okay. So, like, all those European leagues, each team is only allowed to have 4 foreigners on the team. And only 3 of them are allowed to be on the field at the same time.
Well, that is some weird rules. Okay.
It is.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
everyone else on the team are from the town. They're from like Brno, where where the
Wow.
team was based out of.
Huh.
And the foreigners are the only ones getting paid. Like me, Ryan Bean, we had another guy named Eddie who was from Lithuania, and then there was another guy named Alex Durhak that was from Boston, and he was our catcher. And so that was awesome because he spoke perfect English, so that was easy communication with him. But we were the only 4 foreigners that were getting paid. And so with me being a weird left-handed pitcher, I got kicked out of the dugout maybe 3 of the first 4 weeks because the way their schedule worked is that they play double headers on Saturdays and Sundays, practices during the week, and that's it. And so Saturdays and Sundays, I got kicked out of the dugout every single game
Oh my God.
because I wouldn't shut up. Dude, I'm a baseball guy. I chatter. I say stupid crap. And so little stuff in the dugout, I'd be like, yeah, get him, kid. Like stuff like that. And like everyone's looking at me like, they loved me over there. It was a blast. Like they all spoke English. So I mean, there was no language barrier, but I mean, like they didn't know what they had because I was just such a weird left-handed pitcher. And like my manager, his name was Arnest Nesnall, and everyone called him Arnie. And Arnie spoke good English. And so like it would always be like the second, third inning, and he'd be like, and he would always call me Nathan. And he'd be like, Nathan, bullpen, just go to the bullpen, just go. And I'm
Go.
all right.
No.
And I just walk down to the bullpen, grab my stuff, and grab my elastic bands and all my crap, and I'd walk down to the bullpen, and like all the guys would be laughing, giving me high fives as I get kicked out of the dugout. And that was just the thing. I would just get kicked out of the dugout every single game because I wouldn't shut up.
That's fantastic.
It was fun.
That's
I like
amazing.
that setup though. Your
That's
apartment
amazing.
is at the stadium.
Yeah,
Oh,
man.
that's
Dude, it was killer, man. And like they hooked me up when I was there, dude. Like it was a 2-bedroom apartment. So me and Ryan Bean, we lived together.
Yeah.
And just like with our schedule, I mean, all the guys who lived in the town who played on the team, like they all had jobs. Like our first baseman owned his own sporting goods store. Our shortstop, this dude was a freak. He was a firefighter, and he was a stud. His name was Martin, and he was a dude. And then our first baseman, like I said, he owned his own sporting goods store. His name was Pyle Butsky. He was 40 years old and held every single home run RBI record in the entire Czech league, man. Like he was awesome, and he was just a big donkey who just hit tanks. Yeah, dude, he was awesome. And so all these guys were cool. So our setup at the apartment was great because I mean, you wake up at noon, they gave us bikes, and so we'd bike around town and hop on a train, go to downtown, explore all the the cool bars and restaurants and shops and all that jazz. And, you know, we'd have practices in the evening. And so it's like, all right, just got to be back at the flat, you know, or the apartments called flats. And so just be back there at 5, you know, go through BP and, you know, do it all over again. And most of the time after practices, like the restaurant that had the concourse, you know, I had a key to it. So I'd always just go up to the restaurant, tap the keg, and just keep drinking.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Speaking of drinking, okay. When we weren't on air yet, you were telling us that there was he a closer that used to slam beers before he'd go out? I need this story in my life.
So his name was Trevor. I can't remember his last name, but he was our closer in Rockford. He got traded to Rockford halfway through the year. And he was a dude who was like 25, 26, had already played affiliated ball. And he just got traded from the American Association. Okay, so a decent league.
Yeah.
I don't know why I just got a phone call there. You guys still there?
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Okay. And so he got traded from, you know, making good money to playing in the Frontier League on a terrible team. Like we were already like 15 games below 500. Like we were bad. And so he gets thrown into a crappy squad. And so he was our closer. Like this dude threw like 95, 96. He had good stuff.
Okay.
And he was kind of a weird cat. Like he always wore a mouth guard when he pitched because he grinded his teeth so much.
Oh, geez.
But yeah, dude, he was a pretty crazy individual, but he would always sit in the bullpen. Like he was kind of a quiet dude, but you know, he had a couple of his buddies on the team, but we would sit in the bullpen and like he would always have a cold Milwaukee's Ice and a koozie. And he wouldn't pop the Milwaukee's Ice until the 8th inning if he knew it was a save opportunity. And so once the 8th inning rolled around and he's just like, all right, I might get this one. We're up 2, we're up 3. Sounds good. Boom. Pop his Milwaukee's Ice, have it in a koozie, slowly drink it through the 8th inning. All right. As soon as he'd finish it, he'd just get up, do his stretches. And he was a lights out closer, dude. Like when it was a save opportunity for him, game's in the bag. We know we won. Like he was that good. But I mean, dude, he was, always just slamming Milwaukee's Ice right before he went out for a save.
Do you think it was to calm the nerves? Like, do you think he was just like?
No, I don't think he cared. I think he was just so pissed off of where he was at.
He just didn't care. He was just like, I'm gonna drink while I do this.
Yeah, who cares? I mean, it's like, all right, if this is gonna prepare me, I'm just gonna roll with it. Whatever. I'm gonna have a beer. Like, you don't do that.
Right.
Like, you don't. And so he's just like, screw it, whatever. If they release me, they release me. I don't care.
He just didn't give any. Like he just didn't care.
He did not care whatsoever, man.
Good
stuff.
Well, we're over an hour already, believe it or not. We've been talking that long.
It doesn't feel like it, man. This is too good. This is too good.
And the thing is, I probably got like 3 more hours of stories.
Bro, we'll bring you back on for sure, because I'm sure we're gonna get plenty of comments that they're like, bring Nate back like that. Bro, that was so good, man. Well,
and when the Mariners are relevant again and you're paying attention,
then we can have a talk. Or we could do Seahawks talk.
Yeah, we can do Seahawks.
We've been talking Seahawks already.
We'll bring you on and we'll talk some Seahawks. That's awesome, buddy. Well, hey, man,
Nate, thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, bro. I love you, man. You're the best.
Absolutely, fellas. Thanks for having me. Love you too, Frankie. Amos, you guys take care. Appreciate it.
All right, see you later, dog. See you later. All right, everyone. That's it for today.
That was our first interview.
For sure, man. Our hope is to have interviews going at a regular basis. So, man, we love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. And remember, this is Count It All Sports, where opinions are king.
And the facts are up for debate.
All right, until next time, guys. We'll see you later.
See you, everybody.